Hey, if you're pregnant over 40, I have just the community for you. It's a private community away from Facebook where women just like you come together to meet and support one another during pregnancy. To sign up for the waitlist, go to over40fabulousandpregnant.com/waitlist and be the first to know when the membership is open. I can't wait to see you inside. Welcome to Over 40 Fabulous and Pregnant. I am your host, Jamie Massey, and you're listening to episode 32. If you're looking for pregnancy stories of women over 40, you've come to the right place. Today's episode is another fun, unique show. I'm having a lot of fun mixing things up a bit, and I hope you're enjoying them too. Feel free to let me know if you like the variety. I don't have one pregnancy story from start to finish today. Instead, we're finishing 2 pregnancy stories. Stefanie is up first. You heard the first half of her pregnancy story at 40 on episode 2. She was 22 weeks pregnant when we recorded the show. This was my first episode I recorded, and you can hear how much of a beginner I was over 6 months ago. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've come so far, and I'm very proud of it. Stefanie and I met through Instagram, and it was so fun to finally meet her a few weeks ago when we met up for brunch. It still amazes me how friendships are formed over the internet. After Stefanie, we have Jackie on to finish her pregnancy story. You heard the first half of her pregnancy story at 40 on episode 8, where she was 35 weeks along. Both of these women have had such a fun story finding out they were pregnant. I'll be sure to leave those links to their first episode. And what's pretty interesting are their stories are pretty similar. Of course, as you heard, both of these women were 40 when they were pregnant. Both of their pregnancies were very much a surprise. They actually thought they were going through menopause, and then Jackie actually thought she had cancer before she found out. It's actually a really funny story. And they both had their challenges with breastfeeding. And if you have any comments about the show or want to share your story, email me at jamie@over40fabulousandpregnant.com. This is my email address. So don't feel like you're going to get some customer service random person. It's actually me, and I'm the one that was going to reply. And I have wonderful news. Our donor's eggs are shipping any day. And they're our first choice donor. Like, we had 2 backups in case my husband's genetics came back as being a carrier, and he's negative for what the donor is a carrier for, and I'm just so happy about it. I think they're going to ship either this week or next, but that means we have a pending transfer of June. Not a date, of course, because I'll need to start the medications. And I received all the medications when I did the egg retrieval the first time. And so, we're kind of ready. And I'm really excited and extremely nervous. I think I'm more scared of it actually working. Sorry, I just get so emotional when talking about this. My brain only knows miscarriage. So having it work out is almost scarier because my brain doesn't know. Anyways, I'm sorry. We're back. So with that, I was thinking of doing a season 2 if you will, with this podcast where I take you through my journey from like doing the transfer that week and maybe talking about like the medications and stuff, going all the way to postpartum and what that is like. I just had my 42nd birthday actually a few weeks ago. So I'm going to be 42 and sharing my story. What do you think about that? I have been thinking about bringing on experts and kind of having that go tandem with the week and what's going on with the pregnancy. So let me know what you think. I would love to know. And with that, let's jump into the show. Stefanie, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That is the first time I'm saying it, and it's super fun. We've heard the first half of your story on episode 2. I re-listened to that episode the other day. I was so cringeworthy. It's like, oh, Jamie. But you were 22 weeks along when we recorded that episode. We need to finish your pregnancy story at 40.
Okay.
But before we do that, Stefanie, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So I am now 41. I live in Prosper, Texas right now. I'm from East Texas, and I've got 2 other kiddos. I've got a 7-year-old and an almost 3-year-old. And then now we have our little surprise little surprise boy. So
for those who haven't listened to episode 2, will you kind of quickly tell us how you found out you were pregnant?
Sure. I had just turned 40, and I thought that all the symptoms that I was feeling were from like perimenopause. Like I was tired all the time. I was thirsty all the time. I was gaining weight in my midsection. And I just kind of felt sluggish. So I had made an appointment with a doctor to get like my thyroid checked and my hormones and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden I kind of started feeling what I thought was gas bubbles. But then I realized it was kind of more than gas bubbles maybe. So I decided to take a pregnancy test just to rule it out. So I took a test at home, and it like immediately was positive. And I actually had like 5 tests at home. All of them were positive. So I was flipping out.
Gotta make sure.
I gotta make sure. So I was flipping out because I didn't think that I could really get pregnant, because we did 2 rounds of IVF for my son, my 3-year-old, almost 3-year-old, to have him. So I really just didn't think that pregnancy was the last thing on my mind. I thought that I was going into menopause early. So I called my doctor, and they said, we have to see if the doctor will accept you because you haven't had your appointment yet, and you have to have one before 12 to 16 weeks. And I was like, well, how far along does that make me? They had asked me the date of my last cycle, and it was a while ago. But I wasn't tracking anymore because I wasn't trying to get pregnant, so I didn't pay attention really. Anyway, but they said, well, you sounds like you're 18 weeks along. And I was like, 18 weeks along? But I couldn't really process that because I was really just still in freak out mode. I called several other doctors, and it was the same thing, like we can't get you in if you haven't had an appointment yet, which I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, my doctor ended up taking me and got me in like the next day and confirmed it, and I was 18 weeks. So it's been like full steam ahead since then. Everything went really fast.
So your first half of your pregnancy went so well, you didn't really even know.
Oh yeah, I didn't have any sickness or anything to make me think like, oh, this is a pregnancy symptom. I just was convinced that it was all menopause.
Yeah. And who can say that they found out the sex of the baby at their first pregnancy appointment?
I know, right? I mean, I didn't have to be, wait for anything. Yeah. It was go time.
That's cool.
I didn't have any kind of symptoms that were like, this is definitely a pregnancy symptom. I just thought, everybody says that once you turn 40, things go downhill, or at least that's what I'd heard. So I just thought my body was jumping on board and going downhill quick.
Well, how was the second half of your pregnancy?
The second half was great. I didn't have any sickness or any kind of troubles or anything really. It just was smooth sailing, and all the checkups were fine. It really, I have no complaints.
Yeah, and you were still working
It was
out,
smooth.
right? How far did you work out to?
Oh yeah, up until like the last, till the end pretty much. I did some kind of something. I would exercise at home, or that's mostly what I did. Is we have like a workout machine that I could do just from
Hmm.
home. So I did. Yeah, I was pretty consistent with that.
And how did you prepare for this third child?
Physically, I did try to keep working out because I've heard all the good things, and that will help you in your recovery and
Hmm.
healthy birth and stuff like that. Mentally and emotionally, we just we kind of laughed about it. It's funny. We're 40, and it was a total surprise, like complete shock surprise,
Hmm.
but in the best way possible. We're very thankful, and we are faithful people. And I just kept telling myself, God knows that I can do this. He thinks that I can do this. So I'm honored that, I've been given this gift, and it's a blessing, and I'm going to, do it the absolute best that I can. So that's kind of just how I approach it is, you know, God chose me to do this, and I'm going to go for it.
How did you prepare like your home, and did you need any classes or anything like that?
We did not do any classes. We did have to shuffle a bunch of stuff around at home because the nursery was being used by our middle child now, almost 3 year
Hmm.
old. It was his room still. He had his little crib. It was turned into a toddler bed, but we had to move him upstairs to a big boy room, and we went ahead and got him a big boy bed. So he had to make some transitions, and we're trying to be real sensitive to that and make him feel special about it because it is a big deal. It is special. It just happened sooner than we all planned on.
Hmm.
Um, and then, of course, we had to get all of the baby stuff because we got rid of a lot because we thought we were done. It's kind of we still had the crib at least and the changing table and things like that. Just kind of had to get, switch gears again in our brains and reset everything up pretty quickly. So,
Yeah.
but it worked out. It went smoothly. We had, luckily we had the room for it and all that. So it was good.
What about your the birth? You were scheduled to be induced.
So we were induced at 39 weeks,
Hmm.
and it was so great and smooth. My first two were so easy. I basically just kind of laughed and they came out. I don't really remember any kind of contractions or pain because it just happened so fast, and it was a breeze, relatively. Same with this one. He took a little bit longer, but it was nothing. I have nothing to complain about for sure. It took, I think, from the time that the doctor broke my water until he was in my arms was like 4 hours. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so it was not bad at all. And I did get an epidural, and
Hmm.
yeah, it was pretty smooth. And they did have to rotate me, to get him to come down a little bit. I got really low blood pressure and almost passed out. So they had to just keep rotating me to where he would move down and I wouldn't, they figured out which side I would lay on that made my blood pressure drop. So they had to just keep working with that. But other than that, he was not in distress really at all while that was going on, and
Uh-huh.
everything was good. So can't complain.
And did you say they're like massaging your stomach, or are you like laying on your side and
I
moving
was
around
laying
like
on my
that?
side and moving around. Like, apparently, like when they lay you on your side, it kind of helps them move down, and then you switch sides. So like they'll just come in and help you turn to the other side.
Oh.
And it just kind of helps them, I guess, wiggle down there. Um, and then once I actually started feeling the real contractions with him coming, they the nurses were holding my legs together, telling me to hold him in until the doctor could get there because he was coming fast, super fast. So,
Wow.
yeah.
But the doctor made it.
She made it. Yeah, she made it. She was messing. She's like, "You're lucky the elevator didn't hold me up, and I got here on time." And I was like, "I'm just ready to get him out. Somebody catch him. He's ready to come out."
Wow.
Yeah. So.
That's
Uh
awesome.
huh.
How was your recovery?
The recovery was good. I feel like you always like when you feel pain, you kind of forget how painful things are after you're done with it. So you realize, like, I forget just what it's like to recover from that. Like using the bathroom again, and
Mm-hmm.
just how much it hurts afterwards, and it's rough. I mean, it's really rough. And like where the epidural was my back was hurting from that. But that was just like a day or two, and I was fine. And then after I came home, it wasn't bad. I was tired for a while, and like my body just felt exhausted, of course. But I, it was not too bad. I was okay. The recovery was all right.
Yeah, because he's only 2 months old, right? You
Yep.
still have a month of postpartum.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
And how did you choose to feed your baby?
We're breastfeeding.
Mm-hmm. How's that going?
It's going well. This guy is a little different than my other two. He's got some tummy stuff, I think, where he's more fussy. He spits up a lot, which my other two didn't really. But at his last checkup, the doctor recommended that I try a non-dairy diet.
Mm-hmm.
So we just started that this week, and it's hard being someone who, like, my favorite food is queso, so it's hard to adjust to that. But we're doing it, and we're making it, and they say it takes about 3 weeks or so for the dairy to like totally get out of my system. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving it some time and see how it goes.
And mentally, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm tired, but
Mm-hmm.
actually, I'm doing good. It's a lot with three. I read a meme recently that said like 2 kids is 2 kids, but 3 kids is 15, and is that how it feels sometimes? But I mean, they're good. I mean, like the older two, I'm really lucky because the older two just love him. My middle one did have some adjusting, which wasn't bad. I mean, he never was, hateful or mean towards the baby, but he needed more attention, like getting ready for bed and things like that, which was fine and understandable. But he's kind of gotten past it, and they love him. So we're all doing good. Just mom and dad are tired. We're just
Yeah.
ready to get to the phase where we can get more sleep, and I think we'll make it.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you want to add?
It's been a roller coaster for sure, and definitely stirred things up for us, but it's been fun, and I'm thankful. And it's 40. I mean, you say you're 40, but that's not the end. I mean, it's our bodies can still do this, and it's totally fine. We were made to do this, and it's good. It's great.
Do you
Yeah.
have plans to have more kids in your 40s?
No, we do not. We didn't have plans to have this one, but no, we don't. If we did, it would totally rock our worlds again. But I don't imagine that we will. We do not have plans to.
Okay. What was your biggest challenge being pregnant in your 40s?
I can tell my body got more tired easily, but I do think that sticking with my normal exercise workout routine helped give me
Mm-hmm.
energy and just keep me, focused. And I think it helped my recovery a lot. So, I didn't see a whole lot different being in my 40s.
Is there anything you recommend that would help prepare someone for pregnancy and birth in their 40s?
I would say exercise and work out when you can. I mean, I know it's hard, but it really does, for me at least, gave me more energy. Even though I was tired, it did help me have more
Mm-hmm.
energy, and it helped me rest better. When I was able to finally go to bed, it helps you
Yeah.
rest better.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I just would.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. What advice would you give yourself when you were pregnant if you could go back?
You can do this. Just keep going. I think, and just calm down about things. I remember, especially when we had our second child, I was just so nervous and paranoid and worried about everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
is what I eat right now going to be bad, or is that going to cause some kind of damage, or like every little thing I would do or put in my mouth, like I really, really would worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I would just tell myself to calm down a little bit. It's okay, you know.
Mm-hmm. Where can our listeners find you on the internet?
Well, they can find me on Facebook and Instagram. My handle is just my name. It's Stefanie Jones Collier, and it's Stefanie with an F. So yeah, follow along. I posted all sorts of pregnancy exercising that I did, and just fun stuff like that. And then, of course,
Yeah. Do you want to mention what you do?
sure, yeah, I'm a skincare consultant in hair care with Rodan& Fields. So yeah, if you need a skincare routine, if you need to up your game or make some improvements, if you got any concerns, if you want to get some popping lashes, your own natural lashes, I would love to help. So yeah,
Stefanie, thank you so
you're
much for
welcome.
coming on the show again
Sure thing.
and telling us your story.
Thank you for having me.
And that's Stefanie's pregnancy story at 40. Don't go anywhere, because up next we have Jackie sharing her pregnancy story also at 40. Let's get right into it. Jackie, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Jamie. Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming on. Now, we heard the first half of your story on episode 8. You were 35 weeks pregnant when we recorded that. And we need to finish your pregnancy story at 40.
Right.
But before we do that, Jackie, will you tell us a little bit about yourself for those who haven't had a chance to listen to it?
Sure. So my name is Jackie Newman, and I am 40 years old, and I am in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I'm mom to 4 little boys, ages 11, 9, 8, and 5. And then now we have our new baby girl, Kalina, who will be 5 months old on the 7th of next month.
So 4 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah. She was our surprise, very, very big surprise baby.
I love that. You have a great story. And I will leave that link to her first episode in the description. And will you tell us how the rest of your pregnancy was?
Yeah, I would love to. So the rest of the pregnancy, everything went pretty well. I could tell with Kalina, the end of my pregnancy, I was really starting to feel it. I was really starting to feel, I think, my age. And,
What do you mean by that?
So I noticed that I was more like sore. The baby bump was hurting my back a lot more than it did in previous pregnancies. Even though I had really tried to, and I think I was pretty successful at being intentional to exercise and take care of myself with this pregnancy. I had felt really good. But yeah, I hurt a lot more toward the end. Like my feet would hurt quite a bit more. My lower back would hurt quite a bit more. And so I kind of made up that it was because I was 5 years older than the last time I'd had a baby. And so I was kind of out of practice or out of shape for pregnancy. Mm-hmm. So the last maybe, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks were a little harder than I anticipated. But she came about 3.5 weeks early.
Ooh, wait. Can we talk about how you prepared for birth and in the baby at home and stuff?
Well, I think last time I had mentioned, I was just trying to do some mental work to kind of prep for her, because my previous birth was unmedicated. That was not intentional. He just came so fast that we got to the hospital and it was too late for me to have any kind of medication. So I was honestly preparing for another natural birth, just kind of mentally trying to prepare. And so,
yeah, because you said they kept going quicker each time.
Yeah. Yeah, which was crazy. I mean, with Ben, our last one, he was born in 2.5 hours. That's my crazy. Labor was insanely fast. And so I just knew that she was going to get here before we could get to the hospital. I even made my husband watch videos of babies being born in cars just in case.
You had the delivery bag in the car, just in
case.
Yeah,
girl. It was ready to go. But, try to just take it easy. I worked really kind of up until we had her, I had planned on taking off work about 2 weeks early, but I actually worked right up until maybe the day before. I think I saw clients. And so we weren't prepared for her to come quite so early. We knew we assumed she would come quickly, but we didn't think she would come quite so early. So
was everything ready, like home-wise, the nursery, all that stuff?
yes, which was so exciting. She, even though she's our fifth baby, she is the first of our kiddos to have an actual nursery. And so we had just moved into the house over the summer because we knew we had just outgrown our other house and we needed a new place. She needed a room of some sort. And so we'd moved into the house, and I'd been pretty intentional to make sure that a nursery was ready and prepared for her. And so we had the bassinet beside our bed, her crib and her nursery, just everything was ready to go. It had been ready to go for maybe a couple months before she was here.
Oh, wow. You were prepared.
Yeah, I was so excited for her and just for this to be a girl. And so I kind of went all out and got really prepared really early.
How was your ice cravings? Did it continue until the end?
Oh yeah. And what's funny is I they're gone. I don't have it anymore. Those ice cravings, though I mentioned last time, I've always been kind of an ice cruncher, but it ramped up with her, and especially toward the end of the pregnancy. And now it's like I could take it or leave it, which is kind of nuts. So
yeah, those poor people at the convenience store, you just dropped them.
That's right. I know. They're like, where'd that pregnant lady go? She must have had the baby.
Oh, so take us back to that day it started. You were 37 weeks.
I had been having just a couple actual contractions, not Braxton Hicks, but I remember when like the first one or two kicked in, and I could tell, like, it kind of made me stand up and say, oh, uh-oh, like that's a real contraction. And those, let's see, I started having those maybe about a week or two before I went into actual active labor with her. And so I could tell things were changing. And I was at home one night. My husband had gone to a meeting, and it was just me at home with the boys, and we were watching a Disney movie, and I felt, a couple contractions, and enough had happened maybe a couple days before where I'd sat up on the couch and I'd hold my back, and my husband would look at me and he's like, whoa, that's real, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. And they would last a little bit longer than Braxton Hicks. And so he was kind of on alert, and I knew that it was coming sooner rather than later. But I was home by myself with the boys, and a friend texted me. She was working just across the street at our church, and she texted me. She just said, "Hey, how you doing? Been thinking about you." And she was one that was kind of on our team to call if we needed someone to come over.
Great timing.
Said, yeah, right. It's one of those odd or God things. She texted me and she's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I said, "Well, I'm having a couple contractions. God's not here, and so I'm just kind of monitoring, but I think it's fine." And she texted back. She said, "I'm coming over right now." So she came over, and within an hour, contractions started picking up a little bit. And I think just because of my trauma from the last time, I was so heightened to it and so nervous that as soon as my husband got home, I said, "You know what? I think we need to go to the hospital." They were pretty consistent at that point. As far as like, they weren't the like one contraction every 5 minutes or, whatever that formula is. I always forget. They weren't quite there, but I'd had enough to where I knew that it was going to kick in.
How many hours have passed at this time?
From the time she came over, it was maybe 2.
Okay.
2 to 3 at the most. I was just kind of monitoring and feeling it out. And But when he came home, they were strong enough, and I'd had maybe 3 to 4 good ones. And that was enough for me to be like, we got to go get checked. And so he kind of hesitated at first. He's like, I don't know, like you're not having them really consistently. And I was like, I don't care. We are going to the hospital.
You want drugs this time, so you want to be on time.
That's right. I'm like, I have got a goal. And so we went and they checked me. The contractions were not coming quickly enough to where they felt like I was really, really in active labor yet. I think I was only dilated maybe at 3 or 4 centimeters. It's hard to remember. But I think this worked out for the better. We had a student doctor. And I had told her about my last experience, about not getting anesthesia, not getting the epidural, and just how, terrified I was. And she's like, well, I hate to send you home. Well, just let me monitor you overnight. Your doctor's going to be here in the morning, first thing. And so I would feel better if we kept you overnight. And she kind of advocated for me because the doctor on call was like, give her an hour. If she's not progressing, just send her home.
Well, good for her.
Yeah. Luckily, she really advocated for me. And she's like, I just would feel better if I watched you. So she did. And overnight contractions still were just really slow, nothing consistent. I did end up, I think I got to maybe between 4 and 5 centimeters. And anesthesiologist came and gave me the epidural. Thankfully,
Yay.
I was so grateful. And it was in the middle of the night. And so something interesting about that night, it was a full moon.
Oh.
And we made it to the hospital. When we made it to the hospital, there were, multiple rooms open and ready. And I got the epidural at a time when the anesthesiologist didn't have a whole lot of patients that were needing it. And within about 30 minutes to an hour, that hospital just started getting flooded with active labor, with the women who were coming in active labor and needing anesthesia, to the point where all the rooms were filled, and they had beds in the hallway of women in labor who were waiting to get
that full moon,
waiting to get their epidurals. Yes, it was crazy. And also their power went out. The power went out in the hospital for it was about 20 to 30 minutes. The power went out, and they didn't have access to their computers or anything.
They didn't have emergency power?
No, the power went out for, it was probably 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And so all they could do was just kind of come in and check and make sure, we were okay.
Wow.
They got it back as quick as they could.
Yeah. Were you concerned at that point?
Not by that point, because I'd had the epidural.
Okay. You were fine.
Fine. And so the rest of the night came and went, and still I was not progressing at all, really. And we tried different things.
What did you try?
Well, at some point in the middle of the night, the doctor decided to come in and do an ultrasound to see kind of if baby was moving, what was happening with her. And again, at that point, they were still slow enough where the ultrasound tech came in, and she spent 30 minutes with us, just kind of having fun, looking at the baby and just kind of hanging out and showing us everything and trying to make her move. I tried different positions, laying on my side. I think a couple times I tried to get up and walk around as much as I could. Nothing happening. That was before the epidural. But yeah, it was not kicking in at all. And the morning came, my doctor came in, and he checked me, and he basically said, you know what, you've been here long enough. Like, maybe if we break your water, maybe maybe something will happen. Maybe this will kick in. But I will tell you what did it. I asked for one of the peanuts. You know what I'm talking about? Like these pregnant, like the labor peanuts.
I don't know what that is. Now I need to look.
It was,
I need to do a search.
It was magic. It's this giant kind of peanut shaped pillow that you put in between your legs. And it just kind of,
like a peanut ball?
Yeah, kind of like a peanut ball.
Oh my gosh.
Like it's this kind of, it's not hard, but it's it's a foam big peanut that you just put between your legs and you lay on your side. And
yeah, it's not a yoga ball.
It's not.
It's more like it's squished.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I put that in between my legs, laid on my side, and active labor kicked in. It took maybe, I laid on one side for maybe 30 minutes. And then contractions started. And I went from, I could tell it was kind of a grueling process between 5 to 7 centimeters. It just took so long. And once I hit 7 centimeters.
Wait, can we go back to the peanut ball?
Oh, yeah.
What is the trick? Is it supposed to just like open up your pelvic floor to help?
I think so. I think that's what it did. Okay. I would lay on one side for about 15 minutes and I laid on the other side for about 15 minutes. And it was like magic. I mean, it had been hours upon hours upon hours of labor and nothing was happening. And then I used that peanut and it was like, again, like magic. Within like 30 minutes, I went from 7 centimeters to 9, like I think maybe in less than an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. And it had been 19 hours. I had been there 19 hours.
Definitely your longest birth.
Oh, like almost longer than all of them combined.
Wow.
It was insane. We could not believe how long I was in labor with her. But the last nurse came in. We went through, good grief, like 2-3 different nurse shifts, shifts. And finally the last nurse came in and she came in one time. And that's when, I had been using the ball, contractions were really going. And she walked in and she checked me and she said, all right, it's time to push, or we're about to have a baby. And I was like, wait, what?
Already?
And then all of a sudden, like, there were probably 8 or 9 people in the room and there were several students this was crazy too. I had 2 student doctors. So the first doctor was a student who was just kind of communicating with the doctor on call. The second doctor that came in the next morning, she was also a student. And they were both incredible. Like, they were so good. And then my actual doctor came in the morning, but he had students with him. The anesthesiologist had a student with her.
So did you find more comfort having the more people around?
I think it kind of was. It was kind of distracting. Like, I recognized that I was like a little bit more chatty and like we were chatting with the anesthesiologist while she was giving me the epidural, and like the student was kind of helping her. And then when delivery came, it was my doctor and probably at least 2 students and then several nurses. And the students caught the baby.
Oh, wow.
Which, I mean, they caught her. I had to have an episiotomy. So the student nurse did that, which was a little uncomfortable. I would have rather had the doctor do that, but she did fine. It just took a really long time. But like in total, I pushed 2 times with her and she came right out.
Wow, that's amazing. And the student doctors caught her.
The student doctors caught her. My doctor was standing right beside them. he had delivered our last two babies.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was standing right there, as the student caught her. But yeah, I mean, the students pretty much did everything.
Wow.
I don't know if they were like, hey, this lady's had so many babies, like she'll be fine. Like she'll be good to practice on.
She's a good case study.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you do like skin to skin whenever she came?
I did. They immediately gave her to me, which I asked for that.
Mm-hmm.
I asked for them to let me just immediately nurse her.
Mm-hmm.
We did that, and so that was good. She nursed for I had her for maybe 2.5 to 3 hours, which is what I wanted.
Before the cord was cut.
Oh, no. They did cut the cord fairly early,
Okay.
but I did have her skin to skin for a long time after that, which was
Mm-hmm.
nice. They wiped her off a little bit, but they didn't. They were good about just kind of waiting.
That's nice.
Yeah. And she was healthy. She was fine. Even though she was early, her lungs were perfect. And so she was able to just kind of lay and try to nurse for a bit. So that was really great.
Yeah. Now you did the Thompson method classes. How did it work this time?
Yeah, I tried to. I was really determined just to try and let her like latch naturally, which I feel like she did. I kind of let her like find her way to the nipple, and the first few times nursing, it felt like she was doing great. My milk came in pretty soon, and so I felt like things were going okay. And then we get home and she, we find out at the hospital that she more than likely has a tongue tie and a posterior tongue tie and a lip tie. And so nursing actually was pretty rough again with her, which it's been rough with every single one of my kiddos. So I guess I didn't, I should have expected as much because they've all had lip and tongue ties. And I do think at this point, I can tell that it makes a big difference. I think it makes a big difference in just their ability to latch well.
Did she need surgery to correct those?
Yes, we didn't have a doctor or anyone tell us that we absolutely needed to do this, but we saw a lactation consultant from the hospital for pretty consistently, like a couple times a week, because she was really small and she wasn't gaining a whole lot of weight. Mm-hmm. So we knew that was a problem. And the lactation consultant referred us to a chiropractor, actually, for craniosacral therapy. So we would go back and forth between seeing the lactation consultant, just trying to help with the latch, do weighed feedings. And then we would go see the chiropractor who would do that therapy on her. And she did some work on trying to expand her palate because apparently her palate was very narrow. And so she would try to stretch out her palate. And after just so much time of working with the two of them, they said, this is about all we can do. If we're going to expect it to get any better, she's probably going to need a frenectomy. So she's going to need the lip and the tongue tie released. And so we ended up going to Lexington, Kentucky for a frenectomy, which took all of like 3 minutes.
Wow.
The doctor there actually also found that she had a cheek tie as well. So she had 3 ties going on in her mouth that were causing just a bad latch, sucking a lot of air.
Poor girl.
Yeah. She was having a rough time, and she did a lot of damage to my breast, to just a lot of wounding on the nipple. And so that was probably a really rough 2 to 3 weeks with her. And they did the frenectomy, which helped with her latch some. But with those, you have to do stretches with them every 4 hours around the clock. We did that for about 6 weeks. And
wow, that's a commitment.
It is. Yeah, it's exhausting. It was exhausting for us. And it was really hard because they're really painful for the babies.
Oh.
And so it was pretty heartbreaking to have to do that every 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then with those ties, you have to be really diligent with how you do the stretches, because the tie will grow back really easily if you don't do it well enough.
So are you like putting your fingers in her mouth and like stretching that
Yes.
way? How are you
Yep.
doing that?
You have to, like with a lip tie on the top lip, you have to basically pull the top lip up to her nose. And that's pretty painful for her. For the cheek, you just kind of have to stick your finger on the side of her cheek and stretch it out that way. The hardest part is the tongue tie, because you have to stick your fingers kind of underneath the tongue and push the tongue back into the throat. So it feels like you're going to gag them. And I mean, she would kick and flail her little arms, and it was really, really hard to do that on her.
Yeah.
And again, like, we're having to do this every 4 hours. So it was really, really exhausting. And it actually, we didn't realize we weren't doing it quite well enough. So we ended up, I noticed that the wound wasn't healing the way that it should be. And so I ended up contacting a different lactation consultant, and she said, "Oh my gosh, yeah, here, let's get you in here. I will help." She ended up having to break the wound open again. It was kind of a mess. It was kind of a nightmare, to be honest.
Yeah. That sounds really stressful.
Yeah. Eventually it got down to us having to do stretches twice a day. At this point, it did kind of reattach some, to the point where if we wanted it to get any better, she's still sucking a lot of air when she nurses, which causes her to spit up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
If we wanted that fixed at this point, we would have to do a revision on the tongue tie again, and we just can't put her through that again. So we're just accepting that it is what it is, and she's getting fed and she's gaining weight, and so that's probably been maybe the hardest experience that we have had so far with her.
Yeah, it sounds really hard.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, which, we know some people that have those done and they have really, really great success with them. It just, that hasn't been our luck, sadly.
Yeah.
But she's at a point now where she nurses okay. She's still, to this day, she's still only had milk, which I think is a miracle. I didn't expect that to happen.
That's great.
So it's just kind of a one day at a time. Like, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing right now until we're told otherwise. She's gaining weight really slowly, but she's off the curve, but she's on her own curve, and she's still progressing on her curve. She's just teeny tiny.
And how was your recovery?
My recovery, it actually was pretty smooth. I feel like I bounced back okay, especially like with the episiotomy healing. That went really well. Never had any issues. I took some time to just stay off of work. About, let's see, I didn't start work back until January. So I was able just to really be with her and take care of myself. And so I think that kind of aided the healing process. And so luckily my recovery, I feel like, went really well. I was pretty pleased with just how quickly my body kind of bounced back.
And mentally, how were you?
Mentally, things were tough with nursing.
Yeah.
Things were tough there because it was exhausting. And with nursing, probably the first 100 times, I remember like gritting my teeth and have tears in my eyes and curling my toes, like just knowing that she was going to have to latch and it was going to be so painful. And so that kind of did a number on me mentally. And so every now and then I try to have some grace for myself and pump and let my husband give her a bottle so I could just kind of take a break from that.
Yeah.
And it was hard mentally knowing that I was going to have to go back to work too.
Yeah.
I've struggled with that a little bit, just, wanting to be here with her all the time, but knowing that I have to work. That's been tough, but I've had a lot of support, and I feel like, again, I've done enough of my own work to know, like, need to have grace for myself. I need to take breaks when I can. I need to just be really easy with my self-talk and be really encouraging with myself. And so mentally it's been tough, but I've been okay.
Do you have plans to have more kids in your 40s?
Oh no, girl.
Quick answer.
I didn't have if I didn't have so many, maybe. But I think just because of the fact that we have 5, I think that is more than enough. I think we're very lucky and very blessed that we have 5 healthy kids, and we, we really recognize that as the blessing that it truly is. And yeah, we're good with 5. So we've taken all the necessary precautions to make sure that we don't have another one.
And what has been your biggest challenge being pregnant in your 40s?
Honestly, I think the mental piece of I thought I was done with kids, and I have had to do a lot of work around being an older mom to younger kiddos.
Yeah, going back to your mom.
Exactly. That was a big thing with my mom. I had this fear of just being sick, or my kids having to watch me be a sick mom, or not super healthy or active. And I had that fear of being 40 and like, oh my gosh, like, am I going to be able to play with them? Or are they gonna be embarrassed because their mom is older? Like, I've had to do some work around that. And I think that's been the hardest thing about being pregnant at 40 is just, I wasn't prepared, I wasn't prepared to be pregnant at 40. Again, I don't know, maybe had we waited and not had so many kids, I think it could have been different. And had I not had that experience with my own mom, I don't think I would have been as scared. But I'm trying everything. I'm recognizing I'm trying everything I can now to be healthy. I was outside playing basketball with my 9-year-old the other day, and I just realized like how exhausted I was afterward. like, okay, I got to really start doing something like to make sure that I can stay active with them. So I'm motivated to be a lot healthier, to be as healthy as I can be.
Now, are you still running too?
I started running again, and then I messed up my knee. So,
oh no.
So I had to stop. But I've started a couple other things. One, there's like a dancing program that I've started doing that I really love. And I'll kind of do that in my office by myself when nobody's watching. And again, just out, trying to run around with my boys or, kick the ball around or play basketball. But yeah, I had goals to run a half marathon, and then I messed up my knee. And so that might have to be a goal for a later day.
Yeah. Once your knee heals.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd recommend that would help prepare someone for pregnancy and birth over 40?
Having support was really helpful for me. Allowing myself to ask for help.
Yeah.
When I needed it, because I tend to be someone who will try to do everything by myself, and I don't want to bother anyone, right? I don't want to burden anybody else. And asking for help has kind of historically been really tough for me. And so with this pregnancy, with having multiple kiddos, with having to work, and just being older and having other priorities, I've had to ask for help, and it's been the best thing.
Who has been on your support side?
So I have a really strong group of friends here. I've got maybe a core group of about 3 to 4 women who are like sisters to me, who I can call on. They will come watch our kids. They have delivered meals. We have a really great church family that has really kind of surrounded and supported us. I have asked for help. Like my mother-in-law has been wonderful and she desperately wants to come help. And so we let her do that and let her help with, she's been great at helping with like housework and things while I'm trying to take care of the baby. And that's been super helpful.
Yeah, how nice.
So we really do have a great team of people who love us well and want to help out.
And what advice would you give yourself when you're pregnant if you could go back?
I would say to take care of my body, to really, again, be really intentional to take care of my body.
How would you do that?
Eat healthy things. Make sure I'm eating the right things, the healthy things, drinking tons of water, and just taking care of myself in that way. I think that I would tell myself that. I would tell myself to rest as much as possible, especially while I'm pregnant, like to take every opportunity. If someone gives you the opportunity to take a nap, take it. Because those come few and far between now. And just really have a lot of patience for myself. And I would also say patience, like having patience for my kids too, because things are also, as things were changing for me, things are changing for them. Yeah. And, they can tell when things are different. And so, they want attention in different ways. And that's just a part of them, trying to work around this transition of a new baby. And so just having a lot of patience for them as well.
I love that. That's really good.
Yeah, patience all around for everybody.
Is there anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. I think other than if get prenatal massages.
Ooh, yeah.
That's something that I was very grateful for. Someone gifted me a few of those. That was just really great self-care. And so if you have the opportunity, take advantage of it.
Ooh, that sounds
Get those prenatal massages and postnatal massages too. Because your body has so much to bounce back from. And so just really be as kind to your body as you can.
I love that. Yeah. Where can our listeners find you on the internet?
On Facebook, I am Jackie Stanley Newman. On Instagram, I'm Jackie_Newman_1217. And I also have a mental health practice website. I share a lot of just kind of helpful resources in general for mental health. And that is &recoveryandwellness.com.
Jackie, thank you so much for coming on the show and finishing your story.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Jamie. It's been so fun.
And that concludes Stefanie's and Jackie's pregnancy story at 40. I'll admit I'm absolutely naive in the challenges of breastfeeding, but they both helped me understand what to look for and how to troubleshoot. I wish them the best of luck with the rest of their breastfeeding journeys. On next week's show, we have Karen on to share her pregnancy story at 42. Her journey will blow you away. Before her pregnancy at 42, she delivered a baby at 24 weeks. I think it's 24 or 25, if I'm remembering correctly. And she is alive today. I had no idea a baby could survive being born that early. Karen is also a fertility coach, and I can't wait to share her story. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next Monday.